Hello and welcome back to Rue's Life. It is 26.3 degrees here in the polytunnel and it's 19.4 degrees outside. And what I want to do today is to finally get these wildflowers that I've been bringing on in the polytunnel from seed outside into the ground. So I've been growing these wildflowers which I sowed from seed, and I will pop a link above to that, in these cell trays, and they are much more mature than I ever intended them to be, and in fact you'll see that some of them are starting to flower. So in some ways it's going to be really good because they are really established, but I would have preferred them to kind of be about half this height and not starting to flower before I got them into the ground. But there's been an awful lot going on with work, with home life and so on. You know what it's like. So I really do need to get them out today. So I've got about 480 cells here. Not every cell does have a plant in them because some of them either didn't germinate or haven't done so well. But the cells are 5 by 8 and I've got 12 of them. So 480 cells. So we've probably got somewhere around 400 plus plants to get into the ground. I've had this sprinkler system here, which is essentially just a sprinkler on a pole, and I've been really watering this area this morning. Well, it's now afternoon, it's after lunch, but this morning I gave it a really good watering. We have actually had a couple of showers as well, so the ground is nice and soft. But what I'm going to be doing is using a bulb planter to make a hole, a little bit of compost in the bottom, pop in my plug plant, a little bit more compost on top, and I'm just going to keep going. So I've just started making a couple of holes, but I was just going to show you what it is that I'm going to do. So it's just a case of jumping on the bulb planter, giving a little twist and a wiggle, and then out it comes, and that's going to leave a perfect little hole ready to pop those plug plants in, and the plugs that come out of the ground will just go onto the compost heap. So here you can see my lovely hole ready, and this is my little plant, and this looks like a poppy and there's something else next to it. Because of the way that I sowed the seeds, there is, in some of the cells, there's more than one plant. So we're going to pop him there. I've got a little tub of compost ready. So some compost into the hole. So essentially this is just like a little plant pot. I pop my plant in and then pop some compost round the edge. And that is number 1 planted, and we've got 390 something to go. So I'm going to start off by just making lots of holes. So here we go. So this is hot work. Anyway, I've made quite a lot of holes. I haven't been counting them. I've just kept making lots of holes. And now I'm really quite tired and bored of making holes. I'm going to start putting the plants in, and then I'm going to just keep repeating the process until I've run out of plants. And what I've done, because I've used these cells that are quite flimsy and fragile, rather than trying to lift them and carry them out with the plants in, I've actually just popped each plant out of the tray in the polytunnel. So I'm just lifting them out and leaving the trays on the staging, and I've got my plants in a trug, and that way I can save these cells and I can use them again. So now the really exciting bit, where I finally start to plant my wildflowers into my wildflower meadow. So it's actually started raining, so I've had to quickly come inside with the camera, but it's really quite refreshing to be working in the rain because it's still very muggy. So I'm going to push on with what I'm doing, and I will show you the results once I've got these plants in. So, I'm sure you've all heard of the phrase, been dragged through a hedge backwards. I think I look like I've been dragged through several hedges, backwards, forwards, sideways, and every which way there is to be dragged. It's rained, the sun's come out, it's rained, the sun's come out. And this is, without a doubt, one of the biggest projects that I've undertaken for quite some time. However, 150 litres of compost and about 300 to 400 plants later and they're in. So all I need to do now is start to pick up the rest of the little plugs that have come out, because there's still a few that I need to collect, and then give it a really good watering. So I'm having to tread really carefully now so that I don't squish the plants. I've just sprinkled myself. Oh, well, I said I was hot. So let's get this bit done before it comes round again. So as you can see, that is the sprinkler in place. And I'm going to show you some of the plants in situ. I'm going to get up before it comes round again. So there they are. Some of them are quite tall, so they're a little bit wobbly, but I think they're going to settle in nicely. And that is the wildflower meadow finally planted up, and I'm really, really pleased. So I don't know if you can see, just next to me are the last few of those plugs which I need to ferry round to the compost heap. But I think I'm going to have a cuppa first. So for anybody that is thinking about planting up a wildflower meadow, let's see, fingers crossed how this does establish, but I've got a really good feeling that it is going to do well. So as I said earlier, you should have seen the link to when I sowed these wildflower seeds. But if you don't want to watch that video, or you just want a little recap, what I did was I had a box of wildflower seeds. I got the seed trays, and they're the little flimsy ones, but they're exactly what I needed to do the plug plant, so the deep plug plant trays. So I filled up those seed plug trays, sprinkled the seeds on top, and they actually had a growing medium in the box with them, and they germinated beautifully. I've been keeping them watered well in the polytunnel. This area had been mowed several times and trimmed right back hard, and then I've used a bulb planter to create holes, a little bit of compost in the bottom, in went the plug plant, a little bit of compost to firm it in, and that is, I'm being sprinkled again, that is my wildflower meadow planted up. So I'm really looking forward to showing you how this progresses, and I'm really hoping for a fabulous, fabulous riot of wildflowers, which not only will look absolutely spectacular, but of course they're going to be a haven for those pollinators. And I'm looking forward to sitting out with a cup of tea, watching the butterflies and the bees all flying around and going from plant to plant. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. As ever, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you all again soon.